The man's name is Leo. His legs have been broken. He asked a blacksmith to make him a pair of iron legs. Leo lived in seclusion for 3 years to practice kung fu. When he came down from the mountain, he had become a kung fu master. No one could withstand a single blow from him. There was another man in the martial arts world named Cyrus. He had both of his arms cut off when he was young. His father found someone to give him a pair of iron arms. The iron arms were extremely powerful, and they could also fire hidden weapons. So when these two met, who would be the final winner? A gang called the Heavenly Way Manor emerged in the martial arts world. The leader, Tyrant, was tyrannical and domineering and had offended many people. One day, the three tigers of the south took advantage of Tyrant's absence and broke into the manor. They captured Tyrant's wife and son and broke his wife's legs and his son's arms. Tyrant rushed back. Their actions angered him. Tyrant used his famous Black Tiger triple strike technique to fight against the three of them. Tyrant killed the 3 men, but his wife bled to death. Tyrant's son Cyrus was very strong. He didn't beg for mercy even though both his arms were broken. Tyrant asked a master blacksmith to forge a pair of iron arms for his son. When Cyrus grew up, he had mastered the use of his iron arms. The iron arms could also shoot hidden weapons, making it impossible to guard against him. Tyrant also taught him the Black Tiger triple strike technique. With the iron arms, it was incredibly powerful. Tyrant captured the sons of the 3 tigers of the south. They all knew kung fu. Tyrant made them fight Cyrus. If they could defeat Cyrus, he would let them go. The 3 of them were no match for Cyrus. Cyrus crippled them in a few moves. Tyrant had always been tyrannical and domineering, but now he was even more so. He wanted to cripple everyone else. One day, Tyrant took Cyrus to a restaurant. 2 men laughed at Cyrus's arms. Cyrus beat them up. A blacksmith saw their behavior and was furious. He cursed at Tyrant. Cyrus wanted to teach the blacksmith a lesson. The head servant, Lee, offered to do it. At this time, a scholar praised the blacksmith for cursing well, saying, "Heaven has eyes." That blacksmith's scolding was really satisfying. Cyrus jumped over and poked out the scholar's eyes. Then Lee took the blacksmith to Cyrus's house. The blacksmith was skilled and courageous. He went there with his hammer. Tyrant forced mute medicine into his mouth. The blacksmith was unconvinced but could no longer speak. He wrote on the table to scold Tyrant. Tyrant then deafened him. The blacksmith became deaf and mute. The scholar came to the blacksmith's house to live together. Another day, a drunkard named Leo accidentally bumped into Cyrus. To appease his son, Tyrant chopped off Leo's legs. Leo had no choice but to go to the blacksmith's house. Fortunately, the blacksmith could support them by blacksmithing. But Tyrant was not going to let them go. He warned the nearby villagers not to give the blacksmith any work. Now life was even harder for the 3 of them. One day, a swordsman came to town. He wanted to have a sword made, but no one dared tell him the blacksmith location. Then the swordsman saw some people bullying a disabled person. He took action to drive the bad guys away. The 3 told the swordsman about their suffering. The swordsman couldn't stand it and wanted to avenge them. The swordsman was highly skilled in martial arts. The guards were no match for him. Head servant Juan swung his chain hammer at him, but the swordsman was agile, and Juan couldn't gain the upper hand. Cyrus told Juan to back down and fought the swordsman himself. The swordsman fought him for a dozen rounds. Cyrus found an opportunity to disarm him. As the swordsman tried to escape, he was stopped by the chain hammer. To punish the swordsman, Tyrant turned him into an idiot. Tyrant was truly lawless. Each of the 4 was more miserable than the last. Leo found a letter on the swordsman and learned that he was Hawklord's disciple. The 3 decided to take the swordsman to Hawklord. The journey was long. The blacksmith found a unicycle and pushed Leo and the scholar, but the swordsman kept messing around. After going through many hardships, the 3 finally found the swordsman's master. The 3 wanted to become Hawklord's disciples and learn martial arts to avenge themselves. Hawklord devised different training methods for them. He asked the blacksmith to make a pair of iron legs for the legless Leo. After the iron legs were fitted, Leo was finally able to stand again. The scholar was blind and had to use his ears as his eyes. Hawklord made him practice hidden weapons. The blacksmith was deaf and mute. Hawklord asked everyone to communicate with him by writing on his hand and made him practice his eyes by hitting wine jars in a ring of fire. Leo was still unable to walk, and the swordsman kept pushing him. Hawklord asked Leo to kick the swordsman with his iron leg. Although the swordsman had become an idiot, his martial arts skills were still there. It was difficult for Leo to kick him. Hawklord then used iron rings to enhance the scholar's hearing and made him practice echolocation. The blacksmith practiced his judgment by looking in the mirror. The legless man's iron legs became more and more flexible. The swordsman didn't dare push him anymore. After 3 years of training, the three were no longer what they used to be. They had all become kung fu masters, especially Leo's iron legs. He had mastered them to perfection. No one could withstand a single blow from him. The scholar played with the swordsman every day using iron rings. His ears could already replace his eyes. The three of them were disabled but not defeated. After 3 years of hard training, they finally had the ability to take revenge. The three knelt down to thank Hawklord. Hawklord told them that Tyrant's 45th birthday would be in a few days. Tyrant has invited many martial arts masters. This is your good opportunity. The scholar devised a plan. He disguised himself as a fortune teller and went to the inn first. The blacksmith came to pick up the scholar. Leo and the swordsman waited for news at the blacksmith shop. The scholar revisited his old haunts and came to the inn. As it happened, head servant Juan was also there. The scholar didn't hold back and took out his long staff to teach them a lesson. The scholar used his echolocation to beat them to a pulp. Juan was no match for him, but Tyrant's birthday was in a few days. Juan didn't want to delay the birthday celebration because of this small matter. He had no choice but to go to others for help. The helper who came was Might, Tyrant's junior. Might practiced iron shirt and had a strong, muscular body. Might asked the blacksmith and the scholar to punch him 3 times and kick him 3 times first. He said that if they could move him or knock him down, he would let them go. But if they couldn't, they would be in danger. But no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't move Might. Then Leo came out. He wanted to punch and kick him 3 times too. The swordsman reminded Might that Leo's legs were made of iron. Might didn't understand what the swordsman meant and thought it was an exaggeration. Leo punched Might 3 times. Might felt like he was being tickled, but Leo kicked him once and seriously injured him. Might died with regret. They really were iron legs. Might was dead. This could not be hidden from Tyrant. Tyrant came knocking. The blacksmith and the scholar tested how strong Tyrant's kung fu was and then ran away. As the host of the birthday banquet, Tyrant didn't go after them. The 4 disabled people made a plan. The plan was for the scholar and the blacksmith to challenge Tyrant and find his weakness. Leo would be the trump card to be revealed at the end. The scholar and the blacksmith arrived. One had set a trap for them. One used mirrors to disrupt the blacksmith vision and drums to disrupt the scholar's hearing. At the critical moment, the swordsman appeared and destroyed the drums. The scholar then smashed the mirrors. Now that they were no longer hindered, they quickly killed one. After they arrived at the manor, the blacksmith fought Tyrant, and the scholar fought Cyrus. The iron staff against the iron hand was a wonderful sight. For a moment, neither could gain an advantage over the other. The blacksmith was trying to wear Tyrant down, while the swordsman started playing with Cyrus using the iron ring. The scholar was very familiar with this iron ring, so he was able to work with the swordsman tacitly, making Cyrus run around in circles. Cyrus got angry and fired hidden weapons from his iron arms, but the swordsman didn't feel any pain. Cyrus extended his iron arm and stabbed the swordsman. The scholar took the opportunity to strangle Cyrus, but the swordsman also died in his arms. The scholar quickly helped the blacksmith fight against Tyrant, but Tyrant was too experienced. They couldn't hurt him at all. At this time, Leo jumped out. The 3 of them joined forces to fight against Tyrant. Tyrant also used his Black Tiger triple strike technique, but he didn't gain an advantage even though he was outnumbered. The scholar jumped onto the beam and grabbed Tyrant's hands. The blacksmith restrained his legs. Leo then kicked Tyrant to death. The 3 of them finally got their revenge and left together. Invincible Enforcer is an action film produced by Shaw Brothers Studio in Hong Kong. It is directed by Chang Che and stars Chen Quantai, Lu Feng, Hua Chue, Lo Meng, Sun Qian, and Cheng Sheng. Invincible Enforcer and 5 Deadly Venoms are hailed as cult classics in the kung fu genre. The evil in Invincible Enforcer lies in disability. The 4 young men offended Tyrant over a trivial matter. One became deaf and mute, one became blind, one lost his legs, and one became an idiot. It's really sad how miserable they are. But the 3 of them were disabled but not defeated. They found a master and learned unique kung fu. The scholar trained his hearing and used his ears to replace his sight. The blacksmith trained his eyesight and strength. Leo had an iron leg fitted and practiced his legwork. The swordsman was the most pitiful, although he had strong martial arts. His intelligence was like that of a child's. This was the hardest part to train. The villain Cyrus was also miserable. His arms were cut off when he was young, and he could only have iron arms fitted. But because of his son's disability, Tyrant became extremely cruel. Anyone who offended him would be crippled by Tyrant. In the end, Tyrant got what he deserved. The fighting in the film is too long and too boring, especially the final iron ring battle between the scholar and the swordsman. It looks like rhythmic gymnastics. It's not as good as the fight scenes in Five Deadly Venoms, but the plot of the film is interesting and keeps you watching. But I prefer the story of Five Deadly Venoms, and I'll explain it to you next time. It features bizarre torture devices and strange martial arts. It's very interesting. So who do you think is the most powerful of the four? Feel free to leave a comment below and discuss it with everyone. Well, that's it for today's video. For more, please remember to like and subscribe. This is Kung Fu Movie Recaps from YouTube. Until next time,